We are all in the gutter, but some of us are looking at the stars. That was my mother's favorite quote, and I never quite understood it. My name is Ben, and I'm from Gunflint Lake, Minnesota. I live with my aunt, uncle, and cousins, because not too long ago, my mother died, and I've never really heard about my father. Lately, I've been having these recurring dreams about wolves that don't make sense. One night, I braved the storm and walked back to my old house. I looked through some of my mother's stuff and found a locket with a picture inside of a man, and also a book called Wonderstruck. Inside the book, there was a bookmark for a bookstore with a note on it to my mother. I called the number on the note, and as I did, something crazy happened, and the next thing I knew, I woke up in a hospital bed. Lightning had struck the house and traveled through the phone line to my good ear, causing me to go completely deaf. I needed to figure out if this man in the locket is my father, so I snuck out of the hospital and hopped on a bus to New York. Once I got to New York, I went to the address on the note. It turns out he didn't live there anymore. I tried to find the bookstore from the bookmark, but it ended up being closed. There was a kid trying to talk to me, but I had no idea what he was saying, and I didn't know what to do, so I ran to the museum that I had passed. In the museum, I came to a meteor display and saw that there was a note on top of it. The note asked, "What's inside the box?" and had a map. I realized that my box was missing, so I followed the map to a wolf diorama. The crazy thing was, they were the same wolves that I had seen in my dreams. The boy I had seen earlier gave me my box and started talking to me. I had to tell him that I couldn't hear. He wrote down in the notebook that his name was Jamie. As we were making introductions, an old woman walked up and kept looking at the wolf diorama. We let her have her time with the wolves, and Jamie took me to what he called his secret room. I found some files on the wolf diorama and notes that had been signed by M, just like in the book. Jamie gave me a book about sign language. I wasn't very interested until I saw the bookmark inside. It was for the same bookstore with a different address. I ran to the bookstore, and the old woman from the museum walked in. She walked over to a man who appeared behind the counter, and they began to sign each other. I stood up and ended up falling. The old woman looked at the locket. She took the notebook and wrote down my name. I asked her how she knew it. She introduced herself as Rose and her brother as Walter. She then told me that she met me a long time ago. Walter had worked at the museum and gave her the book. "I don't understand. It's signed M, and you said your name is Rose," I told her. She then explained that M was her mother. All of a sudden it hit me, and I realized she is my grandmother. We took a trip to the Queen's Museum of Art. Rose wrote out the whole story for me. She worked at the museum, and once my father was old enough, he worked there too. She told me how Daniel went to Minnesota to study wolves and had met my mother there. They loved each other, but they both knew it wouldn't work since neither of them could leave their homes. She wasn't sure if my father knew about me, because when I was young, he had died of a heart condition. Rose showed me the panorama that she had created. Inside the museum building, there was a drawing of a wolf diorama signed Ben. She met me at my father's memorial service. Suddenly it went pitch black, but Jamie came to save us. Rose led us to the roof of the museum. We looked at the stars, and I realized that I had found my home, and I finally understood my mother's favorite quote. Everyone has problems and gets stuck in the gutter, but it's all about choosing to look at the bright side, and everything will work out.